Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me here today on Teslanomics Live. I'm your host, Ben Sullins. And what we do here is we take a look at the previous week's news related to Tesla or other things similar to them, like the solar industry or the EV industry as a whole. And these tend to go a bit longer than my normal videos. So if you're watching this after the fact, just be aware this will probably be close to an hour. And a lot of that is because at the end or close to the end of the video, I do a live Q&A. So I actually received over 50 questions just this morning from all of you and everyone else on my email list, which you can get on at teslanomics.co. So if you want to get your questions in advance, go there, and then I'll shoot you a note in the morning, and then I kind of sift through them and parse them out for the live stream here. So first and foremost, some housekeeping items for the show or for the channel. If you didn't notice, now I'm doing 3 videos per week. So Monday, live news; Wednesday, deep dive analysis, like the typical stuff you're used to seeing here. And then Friday, more fun, kind of interviews or vlog style videos. Or last week, I attempted to be funny. And some of you got it, some of you didn't, but I appreciate everyone that commented and liked that video because it was fun to make. So other than that, I have one other housekeeping item, and that is that the referral program for me anyways right now is maxed out. So those of you that have submitted your info to get the referral code and you've got the email, I've got maybe 10 or so of you that have said, hey, it's not working. That's because level 1 is currently, level 2 is currently not available. You can see, I don't know if I can see that on the screen there, but basically, as soon as level 2 opens up, I will email all of you guys that submitted it, and I've changed it over to be a wait list now. So if you're not on that, or if you're looking to buy a Tesla or know somebody that is, you can get on that wait list at teslanomics.co/TD. And then what it'll do is it'll just put you in a group that as soon as I have the referrals available again, you will be notified immediately, so you can get that discount and then the free supercharging, of course. If you do have questions that you want me to answer during this session here, please hold them until the end. I'll let you know. I need like a bell or something, but I'll have that close to the end after we get through all these news segments. So let's just dive right into it. First and foremost, we have some news here about, and that is not the right page. We have some news here about Tesla is looking to offer up $1.5 billion in bonds to fund the Model 3. And the idea here is that Tesla intends to use the net proceeds from this offering to further strengthen its balance sheet during this period of rapid scaling with the launch of the Model 3 and for general corporate purposes, the company said in a prepared statement. So I like this. I'm excited about this because I think that this is going to really just ensure that things go smoothly with the Model 3 and that, we do get our cars on time, which leads to us switching over to a more sustainable form of transport, which also helps grow the EV industry, which obviously I and many of you want to see happen. So all good stuff. We knew that they didn't have enough money to do it on their own, and so this is an interesting development that's come out. So I'm excited about this, and hopefully that means that we're all going to start getting and seeing Model 3s all over the road soon. So the next thing is that the Business Insider wrote this hit piece about people canceling their orders for their Model 3. And this is true. So there was an earnings call on August 2nd, just a few days ago. And on the earnings call, they mentioned that they had, at one point in time, 518,000 reservations for the Model 3, and that now, currently, as of August 2nd, they had 455,000. So the difference there is 63,000, and that seems like a lot, right? And if you think about it, though, you'd be expecting people to have a higher cancellation rate. I think about 5% is typically what you would expect for bad debts on most balance sheets. And so here, you're a bit higher than that. But that's to be expected. People are going to be waiting 16, 18 months for a car. It may not have a heads-up display or whatever the killer feature is that they're interested in, whatever the case may be. So I think this was kind of a hit piece. I think the reason you're seeing this is because it's sensational. It's very clickbaity, which I am not above that, as many of you have pointed out. But I did do sort of a response article here, and this is on my LinkedIn page, which you guys are welcome to follow me there. I haven't put it up anywhere, but if you go just search for me on LinkedIn, you'll find it there. I'm actually going to be posting a video there sometime soon. I dove into the data a little bit, and I like how Elon framed it. You know, from his quote from the earnings call, he said, it's like if you're at a restaurant and serving hamburgers and there's an hour and a half wait for hamburgers. You really don't want to be encouraging people to order more hamburgers. And that's very true, right? I mean, this happens. You know, you go to Starbucks or a restaurant or whatever, and it's an hour and a half wait, you go somewhere else. It's not the restaurant is fine. The restaurant is like, look, we can't even fulfill all the orders we have. Now, in a couple years, if their cancellation rate, we'll say, or the bad debt ratio was similar to this, that would be more of a concern. So here's essentially what the difference is. I just try to visualize this, and I love bar charts because they're simple and easy to understand. There's before and after, right? And you can see there's really not that much of a difference. Sure, 63,000 cars is a fair amount. It's, you know, a few quarters worth of current S and X sales, so fine. But overall, they still have this massive backlog that they have to get through, which is, you know, billions and billions of dollars worth of orders. So here's the delivery ramp, because I wanted to put this in perspective again. And this is my estimate for even I updated this estimate for this specific article. And here's what the delivery ramp looks like. It's that S-curve topping out towards the end of the year around 5,000. And here's what it looks like afterwards. It's the exact same. So really, in terms of what this means to Tesla, it doesn't mean hardly anything. In fact, they're getting, on the same earnings call, Elon said that they're currently receiving 1,800 new orders on average per day. So in about 30 days, they'll make back all of those 63,000. So to me, the reason we're seeing this is about this chart here. And this chart is all about the hype cycle of new technologies. And so what you see is you have the technology trigger, bam, Model 3, woo! You know, everyone's talking about Model 3. It's this peak of inflated expectations. And then you start to see a bunch of negative press come out as maybe some of those expectations don't meet what people, you know, all the hype. I believe after taking a test ride in a Model 3 and seeing it up close and touching it and all those, that it's actually going to exceed a lot of expectations, which is maybe hard to believe. And maybe, you know, I'm biased and all that, just like we all are in one way or another. But point being, I think what we're seeing here is the negative press come out after the kind of peak of our expectations. And then we're going to have this trough of delusionment. And then, you know, we'll have this kind of, you know, slope of enlightenment and then plateau of productivity. I think this is essentially what we're seeing right now when you see hit pieces about the Model 3, because the Model 3 is a fantastic car. Unless somebody's ridden in it and actually seen it in person, I would question anybody that writes about it that hasn't had those experiences. So that's, I think, really what's going on there. So anyways, that was my bit on the Model 3 and this kind of thing that's happening right now. Now, one of the things I do on the show is I have my long and my short. And so the long is the thing that I'm betting on. This is the thing I like. The short is the thing I don't like. I'm borrowing these terms from the markets when we talk about betting on or against something. And here we have my short. And my short is Elon is building a Hyperloop. I've talked about this before, and the reason I'm shorting this is a couple reasons. First off, he is too busy. He needs to stay focused on Tesla and SpaceX. Not to mention the Boring Company is already here doing their thing, so that's another company, plus Neuralace, plus, you know, probably a dozen other things that are already in the works that we don't even know about. He needs to stay focused, is my opinion. That's my feedback to him. And so I'm short on it because of that, because I feel like this is going to take focus away from Tesla, which is really kind of, he needs his attention right now to succeed. And so there's that. Then I think that this is bad because it kills competition. And in fact, even in the article, it says that a person close to Musk said his plan is to build the entire thing, including the Hyperloop system. Musk also holds a trademark for Hyperloop through SpaceX, which could be used to prevent other companies from using the term, like Hyperloop One. So see, goes basically against what he had previously stated, that the Boring Company would be digging tunnels, right? And that he didn't have enough time. He was too focused on SpaceX and Tesla to focus on any other company like Hyperloop, even though he loved the technology. So they open source the patents. They encourage other companies to innovate and actually make this product. And there are, Hyperloop 1 just completed a really good test, and a lot of businesses are investment and everything else is coming into this arena. And I think Hyperloop is going to be awesome when it's here. But I don't like that Elon is saying that I'm going to do all of it, because that's going to hurt competition. And I think it goes against kind of what the initial intent was, and I just don't think it's a good move. So I'm shorting this. I do want to see Hyperloops. In fact, I have a video coming out. It's funny. I've already recorded a video diving into like what Hyperloop is and how it works and who's doing it and how it's got started and all this. And I have to keep, putting it on the back burner because these things keep changing, right? So it'd be like if I put a video out in 2 weeks, it didn't include this bit of detail, you guys would be upset, as you should be. So anyways, there's that as well. So, Elon, stop making Hyperloop news so I can put out my damn video. But that's an aside. That's an aside. Okay, so the thing I love this week, and the thing that I'm super excited about, the thing I'm long on, is that Tesla is actually finishing their first solar roofs. And this news comes to us, I'm using Bloomberg's page here because I think they do a great job, but mostly it came from the earnings call. And so, what they said on it is that Tesla has completed its first solar roof installations, the company reported Wednesday as part of the second quarter earnings report. Just like the first Model 3 customers who took their keys last week, the first solar roof, which by the way, there aren't keys, the first solar roof customers are Tesla employees. By selling to them first, Tesla says it hopes to work out any kinks in the sales and installation process before taking it to the wider public audience. Elon said, I have them on my house, JB has them on his house. He's the chief technology officer. This is version 1. I think the roof is going to look really knockout as we keep iterating. So I love that they're doing this because it's expanding into new markets. I think it's going to be a great product, although it'll take, decades before it becomes really common practice. I was thinking about waiting on my solar roof, or I'm sorry, on my solar panels for this, but I decided against it. So here you can kind of see this is one of the completed rooftops there. It looks great. I think it looks fantastic. So I'm really excited about this. I think that they're going to be doing a great job here. And here's an interesting one. Can you tell which ones have solar cells? Sorry, looks a little grainy on mine, so no way. But if you look at the data on this, and I've done some analysis in the past before we had details on it, you can be guaranteed I'm going to be doing a lot more analysis on this once we have more details. But right now, there aren't a ton of details out there. So here's what's going on with this. So if you look at the Tesla solar roof has a complete package, meaning a person would be buying a similar roof with similar materials plus conventional solar panels. That's what this chart represents. That's what the big blue is there. So the Tesla solar tiles come out to be the cheapest option compared to all the others here, if you also were to get the solar panels on them. So that's great news. But I will say, when I went in to look at it for my house, it was something like $70,000. And I live in a 1,000 square foot home. So it's a small place. Whereas my solar panels I got were $20,000 before the incentives and all that stuff. So it's going to come out to be about $14,000 for me. So yeah, I mean, sure, it may be cheaper, but you're still talking about a major upgrade to even a small home. So I don't, the adoption, I believe, is going to be pretty slow. But this is my long for the week. I'm really excited about this because they've talked about it and now it's here. And if you haven't looked into this, I would definitely go check out on the Tesla website. You can see the unveiling of it and all those kind of things. That's kind of fun. All right, so in some other news, this is actually very recent, and this is the reason why I do this show live, is because things happen with Tesla so quick. So today, Moody's announced that they are assigning, they're changing the rating. It's a B2 corporate family rating to Tesla and issue a stable outlook following the company's issuance of new notes that sit in a junior position to the $1.9 billion secured credit facilities. Those are the bonds. The rating agency also set a speculative grade quality rating of SGL3. Moody's wrote, as a result of the rapid ramp up of the Model 3 production and the significant increase in capital expenditures required under the production plan, we expect that Tesla will remain free cash flow negative into 2019. Given this negative free cash flow outlook, the uncertainties associated with the launch of the Model 3, and the potential cash requirements necessary to cover the maturities of its convertible debt, Tesla will face large cash requirements through 2018. The liquidity resources available to the company provide moderately adequate coverage of these cash requirements. This is reflected in the SGL3 liquidity rating. Tesla's principal liquidity sources include the company's $3 billion in cash, proceeds from the proposed note offering, and $900 million available under its $1.9 billion secured revolver. Without the proceeds from the note offering, Tesla's liquidity position would be stressed. So, yeah, lots of detail there, but this is good news. Moody's is giving them a good, stable outlook. So that's something that I think if you're paying attention to this side as an investor, this is good news for you. So anyways, there's lots more detail here, and the link to this is in the description, along with links to everything you've seen here today, as well as, of course, things like my website and all that, so you can get on the email list. Now, I wanted to give you guys one little teaser of something I'm working on. I hope to have this out next week, and from there, you guys can figure out what to do with it. But what this is sort of a configurator that I'm building, and what I have here is essentially a way to guess what the final cost will be. The way this is going to work is you choose your delivery quarter, and the final version won't look like this. It'll have a lot more little bits of information to tell you what's going on. But the delivery quarter here is I'm suggesting you use Tesla's delivery estimate that they're giving Model 3 reservation holders now, which if you don't know how to get that, go to the Tesla website, tesla.com, and click on Model 3, and then there'll be a link there that says something like check your reservation delivery date or something. Use what they give you, and if those span quarters, pick which one you hope for. And from there, you choose that. So for me, that would be 2017 Q4. You choose the region, and essentially all this is, for me, is if you're in the USA, what I'm going to do is use the forecast model I built to see when I believe Tesla will hit 200,000 cars sold in the US, and then that will change what tax credit I show on the following page, the final kind of printout that you get. Then you choose your upgrades, whichever ones you want there. And all of these have prices associated with them, which I'm not listing here, but will be on the final page. Then you choose whichever color and wheel type. So, if you want blue with the arrow wheel, you can kind of change there. If you guys are wondering, me and my wife, I'm not a fan of the arrow wheels at all, but our plan is to get the solid black with the arrow wheels, and then my hope is to put my 19-inch turbines from my Model S onto the Model 3. So I won't actually have the arrow wheels, but I'm not going to pay $1,500 extra for the sport wheels when I could just put my turbines on there. The reason I'll be doing that is because I should be getting the 21-inch arachnids for my Model S sometime soon. So anyways, this is a little teaser. And the final result here will be you'll click Show Me, and then it'll be a really nice printable page with a breakdown of the cost, including really the major bit. It's funny that it's just one line on the result, but it took me 2.5 days of working on the forecast model to come up with what I believe will be your tax credit if you live in the US. So there's that. Stay tuned for that coming out next week. And if you're on my email list, I'll probably send this to you in advance of the video and everything coming out. So make sure to go get on that at teslanomics.co. You can click the join button, or one of the pop-ups there will probably ask you for your info. Cool. So that's all I have for the news segment. It's time to move on to the Q&A. And to the Q&A, we'll get started with a question from Carl. Carl asks, I reserved before the Model 3 was shown on stage. I'm guessing I was among the first 70,000 or so to reserve. I only make $60,000 a year and really need the $7,500 credit. I really want the dual motor Model 3. Does this mean I miss out on the credit? So thanks for the question, Carl. And I can't answer this specifically because I don't know where you live and any, a couple of the other bits, like if you have any, I assume you don't currently have a Tesla, but if you live outside the US or if you live in the US and those kind of things. So it's going to be hard to really know. But I will say that if you are guaranteed you need that $7,500 credit, there are two things to consider. One is I probably wouldn't go with all-wheel drive unless you absolutely need it. Like you live in a snowy place or things like that where it's really gonna add a lot of value. Like me, I live in Southern California. I don't care. I'm happy with rear-wheel drive. I want my car now. But second off, the fact that you only make $60K a year, and I don't mean to say only $60K like it's a bad thing, but your tax liability, meaning how much taxes you actually owe based on your income, may not qualify you for the $7,500 credit entirely. So you probably should talk to a tax professional about that, whoever does your taxes, and see how much you owe, because I don't know what kind of exemptions you have and deductions and things like that. But in the end, if you don't owe $7,500 in taxes, then you aren't going to get the credit, or not the full credit, right? You'll get whatever the amount the difference is, but they're not going to write you a check for the difference. So, know that when you order the car, when you go to actually buy it, it's not like, hey, here's, let's say the final price is $45,000. They're not going to say, okay, cool, and we'll take that $7,500 off. It doesn't work that way. You're going to pay the $45,000, and then you're going to not pay that $7,500 on your taxes. So you should talk to a tax professional for sure, and make sure they understand how it works, and they can look it up. The IRS has good guidance on all these kind of things, and lots of people have been doing it. So yeah, thanks for the question, and if let me know what you find out. Actually, shoot me a note on my website or on Twitter. Is probably the better place. Angel asks, I currently only have the option of charging with a normal 120 volt outlet at home and sometimes at work. I drive about 110 miles per day. Is this setup doable, or should I just hold off on ordering the Model 3 until I can set myself up with a better charging situation? So I don't know where you live, Angel, but yeah, you're going to want something more than that, especially if you're driving that much. 110 miles per day really you have to worry about your range, but charging overnight with a 120 volt outlet, I don't know if you'll get that all back. What is it, 3 miles per hour or something like that? So yeah, I don't think that'll be enough for you. So yeah, so there's that. So be aware, and you may be able to use a supercharger, which you'll have to pay for with the Model 3, but will be reasonably cheap. So there's that. Or yeah, if you can find a different place to live or something like that where you can charge, and some other places too. Like I have a YMCA by me, which is a gym, and there they actually have free EV charging. It's just there's solar panels. It's community kind of stuff. So. Yeah, I would probably look for a different situation. But I wouldn't wait on ordering your Model 3 if you want one anytime soon. Thanks for the question. Daniel asks, and I'm going to do my pregnant pause drink of water as I read it. Can I transfer a second Model 3 reservation to my uncle? Will he be able to utilize the $7,500 Fed credit, assuming I take delivery early 2018? So here's the thing. No, you cannot. And I actually have a video coming out this Wednesday where I interviewed a lawyer, and we looked at the terms of service, and we talked kind of in good detail about what the situation is, because I've got this question a lot. You can't transfer it to him unless you had written permission from Tesla, which I doubt they would give you. And only the person that is the actual purchaser of the car is the one eligible for the $7,500 credit. So if you have two, that means you'd be getting $15,000 in credit. But then again, it goes to how much money do you make per year, and can you actually use that full credit? So yeah, there's some things to consider there. Again, talk to a tax professional for sure about that. But the sum of it is, in the end, there's nothing that wouldn't let your uncle pay the car payments or whatever, and have it in your name or something like that. Or you could technically sell it to him, immediately after taking delivery. However, that $7,500 credit is still only available to you. And if you actually did sell it to him, the IRS may not honor that, because they could look at it and say that the point of you purchasing it was to resell it. So yeah, there's a lot to consider there. But yeah, stay tuned for this Wednesday where I have an interview with a lawyer, and we kind of get into the details about that stuff. Thanks for the question. Clement asks, keep up the great work, Ben. Woo! All right, will do. Thanks. This question from last week. Do you think the standard and long-range Model 3 have physically different battery packs and not software upgradable? I saw a report that the weights of the two versions may be different. I think they will all have the same. and be software upgradable, but I don't have any details on that. The logic I have is that it'll be simpler to manufacture, and then you'll be able to make more money down the road. So I think if I were Tesla, and I guess I'm not a manufacturing guy, so someone could totally explain this to me as like I'm wrong, but sounds like that would make sense. So yeah. Kevin asks, I'm not sure if I should get a new Model 3 or a used 2014 Model S. Can you explain the difference and which is better and why? Yes, I have a video on this. If you go look under my comparisons, I have a whole series about Tesla comparisons, and you can go check that out where I kind of go into detail, but that was before the Model 3 actually details were out. So, here's what it comes down to for me. Do you want autopilot? What is the storage that you need for your car? If you're happier with the smaller car with less storage, then the Model 3 is great. If you want a bigger car, like a family car, you need to put more stuff in it, Model S is your better option. You can, if you look at the actual prices of a used Model S compared to a new Model 3, they're really on par price point wise. So price shouldn't really be a factor here. You should be able to get, both of them for about the same price. Now, so besides the space and storage requirements of the car, the next big thing would be autopilot, because you may not be able to get a used Model S with autopilot for a similar price that you'd get a new Model 3. If you drive far and often, that may be something that you would want to consider. But if you don't care that much, if you've never had it, for example, like I haven't, then you kind of don't know what you're missing, so it might not be a bad choice. Howard asks, the Model 3 has a weight of 3,800 pounds and the distribution about 50-50. How will it run in Chicago weather with snow and assuming that I get snow tires? Or should I wait and get the dual motor all-wheel drive version? Thanks. Love the show and videos. So thanks for watching, Howard. Thanks for your question. I'll put a disclaimer that, I've not driven a Tesla in snow, but my friends in Utah that have say that the rear wheel drive is extremely dangerous, even with good snow tires. There are probably other folks out there that live in colder climates that could attest more to this. I'm sure on maybe on Tesla Motors Club or any of the other forums, you can probably find threads about it. I would advise getting the all-wheel drive version, just because it's from my friends that have had rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive Model S's. It's a big difference, but I've also heard from other folks that really tires are the winners there. So I would maybe do a bit more research there, but my idea would be to go with all-wheel drive. Thanks for the question. Ryan asks, with the Model 3 officially being released, when can we expect to see an official walkthrough of what the configurator looks like? Well, there are some leaks from employees that actually have it online, and the one I'm working on is going to be strikingly similar to that. But yeah, I guess once you actually get an invite is when you can walk through it. But a few other people have created them, and I'm working on one. Mine is kind of different because I'm trying to estimate the tax credit that you'll get. But yeah, stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. And if you're on my email list again, you'll be getting kind of early access to that. Bob asks, is the frunk in the Model 3 large enough to hold a donut spare tire? No, I do not believe so. If you take a look at my vlog from the event, I got a really good clean shot of the frunk, and I don't believe you could fit a spare tire in there. But actually, this is a good question. I don't know if you get free roadside assistance with a Model 3. You do with an S, so anytime you have an issue, you call them, and I've had to do it a couple times, and they're on point. They're there really quickly. So thanks for the question. Jeff asks, if I just want a large battery and rear-wheel drive and the $5,000 interior package, live in Florida, when is the approximate delivery date? Also, approximately how many reservations are actually from the U.S.? Yeah, great questions. I can't speak to how many reservations are from the U.S., but I would say for your delivery date, yeah, go to the Tesla website, tesla.com, click on Model 3, and there's a thing down there where you can click on it and get your estimated delivery date. So go check that out. Clinton asks, I'm 6'5" and I barely fit into the Model S. Will I fit into the Model 3? I can't find the measurements for the Model 3. If you go to, I believe Tesla has them on their website, on tesla.com under Model 3. If not, you can go to Tesla.com/press kit, all one word, and they have very detailed specs, as well as I think I posted them on one of my videos last week. So go check that out. But yeah, being 6'5", you know, it seems like it's going to be harder, pretty hard to fit in there. But I believe that the headroom, maybe I'm wrong, but someone told me that it's actually more than the S. So you may be okay. I don't know. I do know some folks at the event that, you know, in Fremont, and we got to do the test rides recently. They were pretty tall, and it was fine. In fact, another YouTuber, MKBHD, did a thing about it, and he's a pretty tall guy. So you can go check his video out where he talks a little bit about that as well. Thanks for the question. Andy asks, any word on leasing the Model 3 because the technology is changing so rapidly? Yeah, it's a great point. The ones I've seen so far, the pictures or the images of the configurator did not have a leasing option, but it would seem unlikely if they didn't offer a lease once they start offering it to the public. So yeah, I assume it'll be coming, and you know, hopefully soon. Yeah, I'll probably lease as well. Do you think that it is worth it to suggest your local town to install supercharger stations, or let Tesla decide best location instead? Thanks, Eric. So there was more to this, and you know, I couldn't fit it all on the screen, Eric. So thanks for your question, you know, and your support again and again. So yeah, I think this is not a horrible thing to do, but I do believe, I forget who told me this, but you can contact Tesla and ask about destination chargers. And if you get a business that wants to install one, I believe Tesla will provide the equipment for free. And I don't know exactly who pays for what, but Tesla is really trying to build up a destination charger network. So whether or not you can get a supercharger is a different story, but I do know that there is some way to contact Tesla to get them to install a destination charger. So if you can talk to a business owner that wants one, like a hotel or maybe a restaurant or something like that, that actually would be a good way to go, I think. So yeah, let me know how that goes, by the way. Lewis asks, are the orders for the larger Model 3 battery being filled first? Yes. If so, is it possible that you could be in a better position to get a full rebate by taking the larger battery? Yes. My delivery date currently shows May 28, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, May 28 is not too bad. You ought to get the full credit still. So yeah, absolutely. So that's the strategy. So when you go to the website, you go to Tesla.com and you find the Model 3 page, you'll see after you've logged in and you have your reservation in there, it'll show you your different options. And so the first production ones are $49,000. That's the larger battery plus the premium package. So that's $44,000 for the battery, or the larger version with the battery, and then $5,000 for the premium package. So yeah, that's exactly how it is going. And yes, that would give you a better chance because you'll get your car earlier. Thanks for the question. Eric asks, what do you think will Gone have for those who make their first reservations March 31st, 2016, free supercharging or something else? Oh, okay. What is the gift? What is the special something that Elon said? I still think it's going to be free supercharging. Others have said a free all-glass roof. I don't know. I think some of those things are a bit harder to price out. But supercharging, believe it or not, more than 90% of the time, people do not charge at the supercharger. So, this is from an outsider's perspective. I don't have data from them on this, but I'd love to see that. Like, what is the actual cost of giving a person free supercharging? My guess is that it's incremental, that it's a tiny amount, because 90+% of the time they're not going to be using it. So that's my guess. That's why I think supercharging will be the free thing. But I don't think we have an official word yet, unless maybe Elon tweeted it during the session. Okay, Rick asks, I'm new to the Tesla thing, made my deposit in March last year, and I've never heard anything from Tesla itself about when we could expect a change to order our Model 3. Yeah, so Rick, you should have a confirmation letter from them, an email, and I don't know if you have to log into your Tesla account or what the deal is, but yeah, go to Tesla.com, click on Model 3, and there's a link there to see your estimated delivery date. So once it becomes your turn, and that's based on the date you ordered and location, then you will be invited to configure. So yeah, you should be hearing something sometime soon if you placed it early last year, but you can go to the Tesla website and figure that out from there. Okay. Whew. That was 15 questions. I got many, many more, but a lot of them were very similar. So thank you, everyone, for submitting those. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the chat there, and if you have a question you've been holding on to, go ahead and ask it now. See, I need like a bell or something. I need like a ding, 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 ding. It's time for questions. So yeah, go ahead and leave those there. And if you want to make sure that I answer your question, use the super chat feature. There's a little $sign there. You can use a buck or two and you know, put that in, and then yeah, and I'll make sure to see that. So let's take a look here. What is the current price of the Tesla Model 3, and will the cost change when ordering from Europe? So the current price is $35,000 for the standard, $44,000 for the long range, and then there's a couple host of options that you can get. And you know, so that will be converted over to euros, I assume, and you know, depending on what's going on with the currency markets, yeah, it may the cost may change. It may be cheaper for you, it may be more expensive for you. And then, okay, here we go. What color Model 3 will you choose, and do you recommend? So I'm going to go with black. This is really my wife's decision, and I support it, because we have a white Model S right now, and black is, it's a beautiful color, this black metallic that they have. And also that's the color that's included, you know. Down the road, if I want, I could get a wrap or get a paint or something else. So yeah, I'm gonna go with black, and I am gonna go with the Aero wheels for now, just because I want to put my Model S wheels on there once I get the new arachnids, even though I hate the Aero wheels. Thanks for the question, Andy Mack. When would we see a new overhaul or new design of the Model 3? 2021? I think it'll be a while. I mean, the Model S, besides the front fascia changing, it really hasn't changed at all from a design standpoint. And so that's going on 9+ years, I believe. Last time I talked to Franz about it. So yeah, I think it'll be a while. Yeah, and thanks for the support. Hey, King's Throne, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching. If you have a question or anything, make sure to leave it down there. Yeah. Oscar Braz asks, what about supercharging V3? M3 support with 2170 cells. So yes, I believe the Model 3 is doing the 2170 cells. There was somewhere someone confirmed that, and I saw it on Tesla Radio, or a few of those. And then what about the supercharger V3? Yeah, I'm hoping that's coming. I really am hoping that's coming, because right now supercharging can take quite a while, and I would love for it to be something that was, you know, 50 times faster or whatever. So yeah, good question. Thanks. Johan Klepan asks, does the Model 3 have the same app like the Model S and X with all the cool features like preheat and precool or summon? Yes, I believe it will, because that's how you actually unlock the car, is with your phone. There is something else there that is a key card you'll get to open it, but that's a backup. The phone will be your primary way of getting in and out of the car. So guaranteed, it will be in the app. You know, I obviously don't have it, but yeah, I assume, and as soon as that is available, as soon as I get mine, I will certainly. I was seeing if the second level of the referral program was ready yet. They keep telling me very soon. So. Let's see, who else? Oh man, too many questions. I can't follow along. Is the 6.1% import duty tariff from NAFTA going away? That's a great question. I don't know. Do you think the government is going to change the way we get taxed for roads? So, Scott, I assume you're in the U.S. with that question. Yes, I do think this will change. So, for example, in California, there is now a $100, or I'm sorry, after 2020, all EVs will have a $100 a year fee, which goes straight to the transportation department to work on roads and that kind of a thing. Because, yeah, you know, gas tax has basically been, and emissions tax and things like that has been a big way that they've generated revenue. And so without that, then yeah, they need something. So yeah, there's that. Have you supercharged your car yet? Absolutely. Yep. What was your experience like? It was awesome. I actually have videos about it. Yeah, supercharging works great. You know, you pop in, you plug in, and you go. And now the app. So if you're on a trip, this is something that people, it's funny. Someone was like, you need to make an app with the superchargers on it. Well, the car has that already. And so the way it works, maybe I should do a basic video like this for people that don't have a Tesla, and so they know what to expect. But the way it works is like, let's say I wanted to drive to Boston. I could get in my car, click navigate to Boston, and it will plan my route using superchargers. And then each one, it actually lists how long I'll spend at that supercharger before I can continue on my trip. And then the way it works is you get to the supercharger, you plug in, and you go off, get a coffee or eat or something like that. And then it pops up on your phone a notification like, hey, your car is ready to go. You can now take off. And then if you go fully, if you charge fully and you leave your car there, that's when they start dinging you saying, hey, you have 5 minutes to get back to your car. Otherwise, we're going to start charging you something like 40 cents a minute. I forget what it is. But yeah, so that's kind of how that works. And it works well. So yeah. Will the Model 3 come with the summon feature? I'm guessing yes. I haven't seen that anywhere though. Any idea about import taxes into countries outside the U.S.? I do not know, actually. So, yeah. Why doesn't the Tesla screen support CarPlay or Android Auto? Yeah, that's a great question. I kind of wish it did. I wish at least that the voice commands would work into my phone. Like I could have Siri do something for me, from there. So, yeah, there's that. All right. Graham Fraser, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, as a great question here, and thanks for the support. Cost of Tesla solar tile roof on a new house versus just a tile roof with no solar and no taking into account money generated from solar. Yeah, so in my video where I broke this down, and I'll probably be doing one again sometime soon, that's kind of the thing, right? So let's say you got a new roof and you did not get solar. Well, you're going to be paying for electricity, and so you can have that electricity factored into the overall cost and do that comparison. And that's what I did. And in a lot of cases, or at least the cases here in the U.S., it still comes out to be a smoking deal because electricity, depending on where you live, can be pretty expensive here. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But I do plan on doing some analysis, a deeper dive into that soon. I just need more details from Tesla about the panels, or I'm sorry, about the solar roof and the efficiency and how much of it and that kind of a thing. So once we get there, once we have more info about it, is when I'll really start to dig into it. So thanks for the question and the support. Let's take a look. What else? John Turner, why do you think they will update the Model S interior? Oh, lost it. Sorry. When do I think they will update the Model S interior? I think was the question. I totally lost it. My apologies. I don't know. I think that, the Model S interior is pretty clean. Maybe they're going to go through one in a year or two, which I don't know how great that would be, but it'll be, there are some things about the UI I wish they could change. For example, a lot of the way that the icons and those things look, just the UI itself could update tomorrow. I think the rest of the car is pretty great, but there are some kind of thick bevels and things that it could be cleaner and nicer. So yeah, there you go. Suzanne Lee asks, what's the tax credit for the Model 3? $7,500? Yes, that's correct. I believe so. It should be. Yeah, the IRS does list it, but yeah, it's based on the size of the battery, I believe. So yeah, there you go. Can Volvo compete with Tesla? Yeah, absolutely. I think Volvo, if they really go, and they've stated they will want to go full throttle here, could seriously compete with Tesla. So there you go. Chris Curran, yeah, so I agree with you. Tesla will likely sell their 200,000th car in January 2018. I'm actually so the model I have has them at 201,000 by the end of the year, like literally the second to last week, or the second to last week of the year. So they may do something to where they, just start creating different cars for Europe or not delivering in those past 2 weeks or something like that. So that way they can blow it out in Q1 of next year. That's my estimate. And I think that'll be the smart way to go. I actually posted my model on Twitter if you guys are interested in that. So, Ben, great channel. Keep up the good work. Woohoo. Thanks. Is it possible to do a Tesla motor tuning on Model 3? I'm not sure what that would be like. So yeah, I don't know. How does one go about tuning the carburetor? They do not. Do you think the Tesla Model 3 versus the Volvo crash test was legit? That's a good question. I mean, it wasn't, I assume so. I don't think that was their footage. I don't think they made that up or doctored it in any way. But yeah, that was pretty crazy footage, wasn't it? Let's see. Do you think ordering a Model 3 today would still get the tax credit? No, definitely not. Because you're waiting at least a year, or I think, what is it, 16 months or something? Yeah, I don't think so. Is the black color really metallic, or is it standard gloss black? You know, I don't know. They don't list it as black metallic, but to me, that's kind of what it looks like when I saw it in person. It was nighttime though, so yeah, I could be wrong. I hope for a nice big HUD in the Model 3 soon. I would go buy an AVD or one of the others. I don't think it's gonna come in the 3. It's just too simple of a car. Maybe in the S. Have you seen the new EPA docs which suggest the long-range battery is 80 kilowatt hours? If so, what could the battery range really be? Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't seen, actually, was it you or someone else actually just messaged me those, and they said that the long-range Model 3 got something like 450 miles on a charge, and that was kind of nuts. So I don't know. It would be crazy if it were 80 kilowatt battery, I think, because that's super heavy. And really in a car like that, you need it to not be that heavy. So, and why not offer it up? I don't understand why you would keep that a secret or something. So yeah, there you go. Does the Model 3 get free supercharging when using your code? No, it does not. I apologize. The code is only good for Model S or Model X, not for the Model 3. Yeah, so there's that. Is it still interesting to buy Tesla stock now? You know, I would, you know, I can't really say about that because I'm not a financial advisor. But I would say that, you know, if you're long on them, then yeah, talk to a financial advisor and look at that. So, hey, thanks. Good. Yeah, it looks like YouTube likes me. So yeah, glad you're here. Sam's Alabama games. Let me see. Don't you get the black Model 3? If you get the black Model 3, it means the car will heat up a lot and you lose air conditioning more, which will lower the range. You know, not exactly. So this is Zohar Sverdlov. Ben, don't get the black Model 3. If you get the black Model 3, that means the car will heat up a lot. You know, I don't use... So the AC doesn't use the battery like that, or I'm sorry, the engine. So it doesn't really mess with the range too much. So it should be fine. And where I live, you know, it doesn't really get that hot. You know, we get around 85, 90 degrees in the summer, and in the winter, maybe 55 to 60 degrees. So yeah, not a big deal. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to take about 2 more questions. So here we go. Are there any images of standard Model 3 interior? Yes, I believe so. I think I showed those in my live stream last week, and I'm not sure if I put a link to them. But if you hit me up on Twitter, at Teslanomica.co, I can find the link, and there you go. Yeah, Tom, what did Franz think of your tiny house idea? Actually, go check out Like Tesla. They had their vlog, which I was prominently featured in, because Kim was actually not there. So anyways, yeah. And they got that whole conversation on, and you know, I think less drunk than I actually was. So I feel good about it. Yeah. So go watch the Like Tesla, most recent video. And you can see me pitching the whole Tesla tiny house idea to Franz, and yeah, he said he was in. I think he said he was in as soon as I said, we'll put a bunch of crazy, attractive people in it and make a reality show. That's when he was in. So I'm not sure what's going on there. What kind of camera am I using? Yeah, I'm using a Canon. I'm sorry. This is a Logitech C920 webcam, which I use for live streaming because it's hard to do other things. I have a Canon 80D for my normal stuff, and I have a Sony a6000 for my other stuff. Hey, Trevor, thanks for the support. I got your super chat here. What do you think about the Dell-looking screen edge instead of a sleek iPad-looking screen on the animation of the interior? You know, it's hard to say. In person, I was super impressed with the screen. The contrast and everything was fantastic, and the positioning really was beautiful. I was concerned that it would be kind of... it's just too close, or it just wouldn't be proper, but I sat in the front seat on my test ride and it was fantastic. I really, it was great. So yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I do think that the rendering isn't exactly the same as the actual thing. So I know when I got to sit in it and go through it, it was a different experience. But yeah, I think you'll be pleased with it. So thanks for the question and the support. Let's see, man. We got 2 more questions here. I need to let you guys get back to work. Will the new Tesla Roadster get a higher top speed? Yes, I believe so. 300 kilometers per hour or more. I don't know. Elon did tweet that it should get, and I know these aren't the same things, but that it could get 0 to 60 in under 2.3 seconds or whatever the fastest Model S is right now. So yeah, but you know, they were saying that would have to be a production one. And honestly, I thought it was kind of a joke, but the way the referral program is going, I'm looking forward to it. I may, you know, I'm hoping I'll actually get a next gen Roadster from that. That would be unreal. I don't know what I would do with it other than make a ton of videos and show you guys what it's all about, and then maybe sell it or something. But yeah, it looks amazing. So yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on the Roadster. So yeah, there we go. Does this Tesla spokesperson endorse the Model 3 Autopilot? I don't know. What do you think about the air vents? Yeah, it's a good question. The air vents were interesting. So if you aren't familiar, the air vents in the Model 3, they have, it's just like one strip that, so you have the screen and then you just have a flat surface and then there's like a little, you know, ledge there. And then that little tiny strip, I mean, it's maybe this big, that is where the air comes from. And to control where the air goes in and out, you actually, it's on the touch screen, you adjust it. And so I'm a little weird on that because if I'm driving right now, I can just reach my hand out and grab the vent and move it where I want. This, I have to look at the screen. Granted, I know we're trying to get into the realm of like self-driving and not having to worry about it, but it just seemed a little odd for me at the beginning. So yeah, there you go. All right, well, hey, thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I think this was a good session. I got more questions than I could possibly answer. Stay tuned for my video this Wednesday where I look at whether or not you can actually sell your Model 3 reservation, and I have a lawyer friend who also is a YouTuber, and we dig into that. And then Friday, we're going to have another vlog video and all those things. If you want to get keep up to date, make sure to subscribe down below. If you're not, click on the bell to make sure that you get notified. Or even better, just get on our email list at teslanomics.co. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you guys back here on Wednesday. Peace out.